Hello, my name is David Clemis, and welcome once again to another session of One in the Spirit. And today I'm really pleased to have with me Scott Richardson. Scott's our Director of Music here at Orleans United Church, and thank you very much for doing this for us. This is really great.
Thanks, Dave.
Now, I just wanted to find out a little bit about you. So where are you from originally? What's home for you?
So I'm originally from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Oh, really?
Grew up there and lived there all through high school years, and then went to university in New Brunswick at Mount Allison, and found myself here in Ottawa just a couple of years after that.
Wow. So you've been here ever since then?
Yeah.
And when did you first take up music?
I started playing a little later than some of the whiz kids today, but probably 7 or 8, playing the piano.
Huh.
And a little bit later taught myself to play guitar.
So you had a bit of that spirit and passion in you
I
when
guess
you were
so.
young.
Yeah.
So what brought you to the music ministry anyway?
So at Orleans United, I had actually been working at another church, Riverside United, here in Ottawa for some years, and
that's where Molly was.
That's where Molly was,
Yeah.
yes, as a young person attending that church.
Yeah.
And so after all these years, we sort of find ourselves here as colleagues. It's fun.
Oh, that's really neat.
I had worked there for a number of years and stopped that job just because other opportunities came up, and really didn't plan to be involved in another church position at that point. And about 2 years after that, I got the call from Orleans United to fill in. It was a temporary position for a couple of months, and after those months, we sort of shook hands. I said thank you, and a few months later, here I was at full time, and I've been there ever since.
And how long have you been here now?
It's since 2002.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you and Molly are some of our oldest team members here. You're very passionate about your music, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
And were your parents musical?
Dad, not so much, although he appreciates music. He would always come to the Kiwanis Music Festival and, give everybody scores of what he thought they should be making. And was usually right on. He's an accountant, so he's a numbers guy. And my mom is quite musical. She sang in church choir for years, and still sings, plays piano, and that's sort of where I first, I guess, saw choirs as a thing you might be involved in.
So in your studies, was it focused mainly on the music?
It was in my undergrad. Yeah, I did a 4-year bachelor's in music at Mount Allison, and piano major. I took some organ lessons, never thinking that would really be a path that I'd be involved in as well.
Some organ lessons, so...
Very few.
Well, you certainly don't play like you've only had a very few lessons.
Two years.
Now, what about your own family? You've got music in your family as well, don't you?
I do, yeah. My wife Kelly is a flautist,
Yes.
flute teacher, and performer.
And we've heard her a few times
and
here.
she comes in here sometimes. My daughter Meredith also plays flute and is now playing baritone sax, which is fun.
Amazing.
And was trying to teach me just a couple of days ago. Not with too much success. And my son is a violinist and violist. He's playing viola with the Ottawa Youth Orchestra and a number of other ensembles. He just finished doing a production of American Idiot this past weekend as part of the pit band for that.
Wow. Well, we've seen him as well here.
Yes, yeah.
We've seen him grow up here, basically.
It's true, and actually when I started working here, he was 2, and Meredith was born my first Christmas working at OUC, which was challenging, to say the least.
Well, no, it's one of the quietest periods of the church, right? So what's it been like working here at OUC?
It's been good. It's certainly a job that I've grown into over the years, and it's been interesting to watch the changes in the congregation over time. You forget how long you've been in a place, and then you suddenly realize that the kids who were, I don't know, junior choir kids when I first started here are now practically grown-ups. So yeah, it's been interesting. I've worked with some great staff. Molly's been fantastic, and we've been here together since day one. Way back when, Norm Baines, worked with him for a couple of years, and we've had some amazing interim people, and of course Glenn Stout, who just retired recently. But yeah, we had a great working relationship too. It was a lot of fun.
So when you're selecting the music or worship, what's the process like? What do you go through in terms of finding those right pieces?
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain amount of repetition of things. You want the choir to be singing a certain number of pieces a year that are, that are comfortable and they can be confident with, and that they can learn quickly. And then you, of course, want to introduce new and challenging things. I find myself at the Leading Note, the music store on Elgin Street, often a couple of times a year, going through their files. They have a lovely collection of music to go through, and I'll sit there and glance through a score and say no, 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 and then after a few dozen, there'll be that one that just the text really seems to speak to this congregation, or the music just looks like it's going to be fascinating, and then I sit down and play it and give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And it's it's just that sort of intuitive process where you know the group. I've been here long enough that I know what the choir are going to get on board with, and what they're going to find an interesting kind of challenge, and then you just take it from there, and hopefully get it right.
Now, I know you've been here for a while, but has there been any surprises for you since you've been at Orleans United Church? Things that stand out for you?
Surprises?
Well, things you weren't expecting when you came here.
I wasn't expecting that I'd be here this long. That's a first surprise. Having come on as a temp for a couple of months. Surprises, I've really been surprised to watch the demographics of the congregation change over time. Because when I started here, it was an aging congregation, as many are and were. But
Watch your tongue, son.
Yeah. And there was a fair amount of concern about that at the time. But now you come here on a Sunday morning and look around, and the place has this youthful energy, kids running around. I've got a junior choir now, which is when they're all present, and not often there are 1,000 other activities. We're in the double digits, which is lovely these days. Yeah.
Great. Well, I really do appreciate this time we've spent together, Scott. It's been great to get to know a little bit about you and your music and your passion for being here. This is really wonderful, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy this. So,
thanks, Dave.
If you have any comments about this show, or if you have questions that you'd like to ask of Scott, I am going to be posting Scott's email, so you can contact him directly, and you can get that on the bulletin. Absolutely right. Also, if you have any other comments or questions or things that you would like to see on our program, please feel free to contact me at the coordinates that will be coming up later. Again, thanks a lot, Scott.
Thanks.
I feel the winds of God today, today my sail I lift. Though heavy oft with drenching spray and torn with many a rift, if hope but light the water's crest and Christ my bark will use, I'll seek the seas at his behest and brave another cruise. It is the wind of God that dries my vain regretful tears, until with braver thoughts shall rise the purer, brighter years. If cast on shores of selfish ease or pleasure I should be, oh, let me feel your freshening breeze and I'll